Hi everyone, Happy New Year and welcome to Journey on a Journey talk show where we discuss real issues, real matters with the real people, matters about social issues. Today I'm very privileged to host one very informative lady, and we are going to talk about sickle cell and give herself time and give her time to introduce herself, and then I'll pick it from there. Karibu sana.
Thank you, Jenny.
Yeah, introduce yourself to my viewers, and then we proceed.
Hello, everyone. My name is Joan Chazima of Joan Chazima Sickle Foundation, and I am a mother of 3. I'm a wife, and I have sickle cell disease. I live with this condition.
Tell us, Joanne, what is sickle cell? When people talk about sickle cell, the narratives that are out there, they don't make sense. Tell us, what is sickle cell?
Now, sadly enough, we really don't have much information about sickle cell out here.
Yes.
Sickle cell disease is an inherited blood disorder.
Yes.
So for someone to have sickle cell, they have gotten both S genes from the parents.
Yeah.
So for me now, for me to have gotten sickle cell, my father had the S gene, which is the sickle cell gene, and my mother also had the sickle cell gene, which basically they are called the carriers or traits. That's why now them giving birth, some children will now have the condition because it's a gene passed from generation to generation. Yes.
Yeah.
So the same way when you might have your mother's eyes, your father's ears, your mother's mouth, you know. So sickle cell will come the
same way.
So it is about genes. So that's why now you find for me to get sickle cell, my father was a carrier, my mother was a carrier. That's why I got sickle cell.
Sickle cell.
So it's a blood disorder,
Yes.
inherited blood disorder.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So viewers, sickle cell disease, it's not about witchcraft. It's not about chira. It's an inherited blood disease. Joan, tell my viewers, how does one realize they have a sickle cell, or what are the signs and symptoms of sickle cell disease?
Sadly enough with sickle cell, and that's why I think most people don't get to pick it as early as possible. But now it's improved.
Yeah.
Because like myself, I got to understand I have sickle cell at the age of 22.
22.
Which is just crazy.
What?
You know? So yeah, 22 is too old to
Let me
realized.
cut you short. At 22, meaning were you sickly?
Yes.
But it was never diagnosed.
I was sickly, and it was my sister and I. We were sickly. We would always be in hospital, and every time you go to hospital, they would treat you for malaria.
Oh my
Because
goodness.
somehow, you see, with sickle cell, there'll be the yellowing of eyes.
Yeah.
And when you get severe malaria, your eyes will turn yellow.
Yes.
When you have severe malaria, your blood levels will drop.
Yes.
So then, most of the time when we would go to the hospital, it was we were diagnosed with malaria,
Oh my.
typhoid, you know, just these tropical
Yes.
diseases. So yeah, but physically it might be difficult to get to understand someone with sickle cell unless you do a blood test to just get to understand if you have the trait or
No.
you're the carrier. So the simple things you can look at is maybe just the body structure. Usually persons living with sickle cell disease, especially the ones who are not being taken care of, there's that yellowing of the eyes.
Yes.
Somehow our tummy is sort of
swell up.
Yes, they're
Okay.
bigger because of the spleen and all that.
The
When it
liver.
swells, yes.
Okay.
So when those things are affected by the condition, you see, you find that now
Yeah,
your tummy is a
yeah.
bit bigger, smaller in size, because we have stunted growth. And stunted growth because now we are not getting enough nutrients
Yes.
and enough minerals into our system to help us grow the way
Okay.
we should.
Okay.
So you find physically it's pretty hard to diagnose, but you can pick a few signs. As I said, the yellowing of the eyes,
yeah.
body structure, very tiny, distended
Tummy,
tummies.
yes.
Yes. So those are the things maybe someone can look at.
Okay.
But you see, it's not just narrowed down to sickle cell. It could be maybe someone has something else.
True.
So until you do a blood test, that's the only way you'll know you have sickle cell.
Okay.
Yeah.
So viewers, please don't diagnose people by just looking at them. They need to do a blood test and be tested to find out if they have the sickle cell disease, if they are carriers, or leave it a full-grown
Sickle cell.
sickle cell. So, Joan, so for one to have sickle cell, both parents must be carriers.
It's a must. It's a must. If one parent only is the one with sickle cell. Now, in my case, I have children.
Yes.
I have the S gene.
Yes.
Mine is SS because I am basically in layman's language is full-blown sickle cell. So because they're my children, I will pass some genes from me.
Yes.
So if the dad also is a carrier, now my kids actually will just get sickle cell.
Yeah.
But if one parent is okay and one parent has either a trait, you find that some kids will just get the trait.
Okay.
But now with me, my children are carrying their traits. They're carriers of the sickle cell.
Yes.
Because they have passed down the S gene from me to them.
Yeah.
But their father is okay.
Yeah.
So at least they're only
So
carriers.
they're only okay. That is what I wanted to
They're
clarify.
only carriers.
Yes.
But if they get married or marry someone who is a carrier, we'll get some of the kids, they'll have sickle cell.
Okay.
Yes, so that's how we pass down those
the
sickle cell genes.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. I've met very many parents who say in my generation, in my lineage, there are no sickle cell cases. And they blame either the wife or their husband is blamed for that.
Sadly enough,
Yeah.
you know, the point we're at,
Yeah.
there is no proper information on genetics about sickle cell. And as you're saying, like I asked my mother, have you ever seen anybody falling ill this way in your family? She said, I don't know. There's never been.
Yeah.
Finding out from my father is no. Some were carriers. Like now my father was a carrier, and I think someone else in the family was a carrier.
Yeah.
So the rest of the guys are all fine. So you see now, if you continue passing the one gene, you will sort of have some people having the carrier gene, the trait. Some will have it. So eventually, even if it's the third, the fourth generation. So when they meet someone who has the gene as well, you actually revive sickle cell.
Okay, Joan, tell my viewers, do we have a remedy for that? One, can it be cured? This is a question that many parents ask. What can I do to cure sickle cell? And some even end up going to India for treatment. Is it possible?
Now, the only cure that we know of sickle cell at the moment, of course now there's still more research. Luckily, this is when now at least we are really talking about sickle cell.
Yes.
So now even in the US they're trying gene therapies, and they're saying some people have been cured of this condition.
Yes.
There's the bone marrow transplant. The ones who are going to India are doing the bone marrow transplants. And most of the time you usually don't know how it works, because like bone marrow transplants, basically you are getting new bone marrow from a donor.
Another person,
What if your body rejects? There's still some science behind it. There's still a lot of tests you have to do to see if your body will be okay to receive it, and you know all that. So yes, it's not really the 100% cure, because also there are those people who get the bone marrow transplant and the bodies reject, and that means you will not survive. So what I would tell people about sickle cell is try and understand it. How I've come to get to this point is understand it and just manage it. Do basically home management by what I am doing, my diet, understand the triggers of sickle cell, and learn how to manage all that.
Okay.
So, and even if you're saying you're doing bone marrow transplant, I mean, do you have what, about 5, 6,
Oh my goodness.
7 million?
I don't think so.
Yes.
I don't think so.
Not many people can afford that.
Yeah.
Because it's expensive.
Yeah.
So now we just, before we get to that point, and we pray that at some point, even in Kenya, we should be able to do that.
Sure.
But before we get there, what do? Do we wait, sit and wait to die? No. So we just learn the proper management of sickle cell, learn the triggers, understand them, and just get to understand what you need to do in order to take care of yourself.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. There's a narrative out there, Joanne, about sickle cell warriors not getting to the age of 5. You are here. Of course, they can see you over 5 years.
Yeah.
Tell us about that, because I've met very many parents who have given up on their children, and they are waiting for the children to die.
That's a sad reality,
Yeah.
Jenny.
Yeah.
It's the saddest bit. Even just when you talk to a parent and they tell you, I'm just waiting for this child to die. Now, we've had myths about sickle cell, and I would understand where these myths were coming from. Because before, we really didn't understand much about sickle cell.
It's true.
As in the past, I guess 5 years in Kenya is when really at least we can hear about sickle cell. Before that, it was a hush situation.
Yeah.
Like, you know what, let's not talk about it because of the stigma that comes with it. So, as you can see, I guess you can see I'm past 5.
Yeah.
So there's that. They would always tell you, they will give you age limits, as in this child cannot go beyond 5, they cannot go beyond 14, they cannot go beyond 18, and if you do get to 18, then you cannot get to 20. You understand?
Yes.
So as you can see, I mean, we've gone through all that. Yes. So we can go beyond, and we've had
30.
Yes, not even just 30. We've had grandmothers.
It's true.
Who have had sickle cell and they've lived with it. They've got children. They have grandchildren and great grandchildren. Because the one who was there in Nigeria, she died at 84, and I believe that was because of old age. Anyway.
Wow. Yeah, that was
actually
that
94, not 84. 94.
That was not because of sickle cell.
Yes. So it's just the narrative that had been built before about this condition, that you can't get beyond certain ages. But by the time I'm knowing about sickle cell, I'm
you are 22.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Sure. Joanne, tell my viewers, what are some of the triggers?
Now, understanding sickle cell and just knowing that. Also, Jenny, let me just clarify one thing. Sickle cell is a blood disorder.
Yes, it is.
But sadly enough, it will affect our organs. So that means, because let me just go further and explain. Sickle cell, meaning that the C-shaped cells, because no more red blood cells are round.
Yes.
And they can easily flow into the blood vessels. So when you have sickle cell, you have mostly the C-shaped cells, the sickle-shaped cells, and those ones hardly move easily in the blood vessels, especially the thinner ones. So you find when the blood is supposed to be flowing, and the red blood cells are supposed to carry oxygen and minerals that we need in our system. So because that is not happening because of the C-shaped cells, number one, they are basically useless because they will not carry any oxygen and minerals. Yes, so now you find when they're flowing, they will go through blood vessels, they get stuck. That getting stuck means it brings about a lot of pain. Too much pain. So now with that, you find if your organs don't get the blood, if your organs don't get the oxygen, of course it sort of starts to die. So because now you find your liver is affected, your kidneys are affected, your heart is affected, your brain is affected. We all know when we don't have oxygen in our brain, we know what will happen. If your heart does not pump very well because it's not getting enough blood and oxygen, we know what will happen. So with sickle cell, we have to be very careful on what we do. we have to get our blood levels, because we always have lower blood levels
yeah.
because of the C-shaped cells.
Yeah.
Because they're always broken down quickly, they're useless.
Yeah.
So now you find you need to always top up on your blood. So the triggers of now this crisis, the painful episodes are called the crisis.
Okay.
So when we get this crisis, you find that your blood is you have less blood. That means lower oxygen levels.
Yeah.
Meaning even your growth becomes smaller, because now you're not getting everything.
Yeah.
So now with the triggers, there are few things that will trigger those crises.
Yeah.
Number one will be like an infection. You have maybe viral infection, the bacterial infection.
Yeah.
So you find any disease that goes into you, as in when you get a disease, it sort of just brings you down, because number one, your blood levels are low, your oxygen levels are low. So triggers of sickle cell, number one, infection. Any infection, as it is, will trigger a crisis. And fever. Number two, when you're dehydrated, because of the C-shaped cells, now they're not moving easily. That means blood is not flowing as it should. So when you're not drinking enough water, it will always trigger the crisis. Number three, when you overexert yourself, that means you've done too much work. You put too much pressure on your body. That's why some of us, we can never really do hard exercise, depending on how the sickle cell affects you or has affected you. So as I talked about, what? Infection, the dehydration, then overexertion, stress. I don't know how you live without
stress.
Yes, in this life. But stress will definitely trigger.
Yes. How is a sickle cell management of sickle cell patients?
Of course, this is a journey you need to work with doctors. It's not something you can say, I can do it by myself. There are medications that we're supposed to take every day. So depending on how it affected you, there'll be, because you find some are not really affected so much. So you find they might not need so much medication, but some it's really, really affected them, and that is because earlier they were never taken care of. So you find, what I believe in anyway is home management. It's a journey you have to work with your doctor. But home management is very key. That means I have to watch what I eat. I'll give my example, because that's the example I know best. So like I would really watch what I eat. Number one is eat foods that will actually increase my blood levels. Because I need it as high as possible. People living with sickle cell will operate with blood levels of between 7, 8, 9 maximum. In fact, 7 you're doing very well. Yes. And you know, a healthy person like you, Jani, you're supposed to have between 12 units, between 12 to 14 units of blood. And that's now a healthy person. We are operating on almost half of that. You get? And some go as low as 5, 4. Now, some live until, you know, like maybe you're sick for a long time and your blood levels, especially when you have an infection, your blood levels will drop. So you find some people get to hospital and they're told your blood levels are 3.
Oh my goodness.
And you know, that's like almost dying. So these ones need like rapid transfusion to sort of bring back the blood levels. So what I do is eat foods that will sort of raise my blood
levels.
Watch my stress levels. I learn how to manage that. Drink a lot of water. Minimum I would do about 3 liters a day, minimum. But when it's very hot, I would go as high as 4, 5. Because the idea of water is it will help the C-shaped cells become soft and that they're able to move so that you don't get a crisis. So those are things I look at. Watch out how much work I can do in a day. You know, like just be careful on everything. Another thing that I didn't even mention was extreme temperatures is a trigger of sickle cell. So too hot, might trigger sickle cell because it will bring dehydration.
Yes,
too cold, your sort of veins will be constricted.
Yes.
So that means the C-shaped cells will block more.
Oh.
So now just watch out on those things.
Yeah.
And I find myself managing very well. So even if I get a crisis, it may not be as bad.
Wow.
I can easily manage. I don't have to be admitted
Yeah.
for me to, because if I get my blood levels to 9, 10, obviously I'm functioning better.
Yeah.
Obviously my body has more oxygen, more blood. Yes.
Joan,
Yes.
are there any medications that the warriors should be put into?
Yes, we need medicines.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's the medicines that we survive with.
Yes.
So we take things like folic acid. Of course, we know the work of the folic acid.
Yeah.
So we always have to take folic acid. Some have to be put, especially the kids, have to be put on antibiotic prophylaxis, which is Pen V, because their bodies are susceptible to infections.
Yeah.
So just to prevent that, you always have to take the Pen V.
Pen V, yeah.
Then there's this drug, it used to be called a wonder drug, but they're getting more drugs to help. So it's called hydroxyurea.
Yeah.
Hydroxyurea, what it does is it will reduce the number of sickle cell crises that you have in a year. So if you've been having 10, it should be able to reduce up to half of that.
Wow.
Because what it does, it will raise something called fetal hemoglobin. Fetal hemoglobin is the hemoglobin children have. And it sort of protects them from so much. So the fetal hemoglobin with the children, up to the age of 6 months, you sort of, the fetal hemoglobin sort of is not there anymore. So hydroxyurea will sort of raise the fetal hemoglobin, and it will be able to sort of just protect you. And it will also reduce the intensity of the crisis.